Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about how you can get out of your own head. A lot of times you are thinking yourself out of your own ideas, out of your own aspirations, and what it is that you want to do with your life. The only person that is interfering with becoming the person that you want to become is essentially your thoughts, your anxiety, your lack of clarity with life. Once you start to get intentional with the things that you want, things become a lot clearer and become a lot easier to achieve and to work through. Now, some ways that you can start working through these challenges or these obstacles within yourself is to really sit down and write down goals that you want to achieve for yourself, let's say within this month. So we just started August. It's not too late. You don't need to start at the beginning of the month. The best thing you can do for yourself is to start right now. So get clear with what you want and make a plan on how you're going to get there long term. So starting with this month of July, you need to start working on the things that is holding you back. That's what you need to start letting go of first and prioritizing so you can move past this obstacle and allow yourself to live more freely and with a lot more openness and clarity. And how you do that, like let's say for example you're struggling with your own anxiety, you're struggling with your mental health or your thoughts, you have to remember that they're just thoughts at the end of the day and not necessarily fact. So you really have to ask yourself and take audit of the thoughts coming through your head and see if this is a thought or is it just a fact. If you know it to be not true, then let it go and move forward. But you have to be aware of these thoughts and really sit with them, really be mindful of how you're thinking or the things that you're saying to yourself, because at the end of the day, it's not going to benefit you and you're just going to be caught in the continuous loop until you break that bad habit. So that's a good place to start, is just getting your mind right and starting to sort out the thoughts that are coming through your head to help give you more clarity. Now, if there's another thing that you are struggling to pick up on that you've been wanting to start for a while, it's all about being intentional and making time for that specific activity, just making a window for it. Honestly, just make a window for it, make time for it, prioritize it, and soon enough it'll become repetition, second nature, and a part of who you become. I heard this really good quote recently. It's not necessarily a quote, but they just said that you have to, if you don't have time during the week to do or work towards what it is that you want, but you do have your weekends, then that is the time that you need to be building the life that you want, is on the weekend. I know it's hard when we are coming home from an 8-hour shift, sometimes 10-hour shift, 12-hour shift. Sometimes some people don't even get that rest. It's important to start making time for yourself, as challenging as it might be, because if you don't, then you're going to continue to live the same life years after years after years. But if you take the weekend, you take that free time that you do have to start working towards and putting time into the things that you want to create, then eventually you'll see the transitions start to change over time. Soon enough, you'll be working less of doing the thing that you don't want to do and doing more of the things that you do love to do. But you have to push past the discomfort. You have to push past the tiredness. You have to push past these limitations until you get to that end goal or start to transition into that life that you always dreamt for yourself. Start to get clear on what it is that you want. Do not play around anymore. If you have been anticipating on starting this journey and you have yet to take in the steps, all it's going to do is push it back, prolong it even further. But if you start to take that action now, do it little by little, again, 1% every single day. If you just put in 1% of anything that you aspire to do or to become, eventually you're going to meet that 100%. If you just imagine a glass that is empty, but there's like a little tap over it and it's dropping a drop every second. It seems like it's going to take forever because it's only coming drop by drop, but leave it alone, let time pass, you come back to it and you see that it's a bit more filled. Leave it alone, you come back and see that the cup is now full. You will get there eventually if you start to deposit this time into what it is that you want to grow something, and for it to be, and for you to make something out of it. It's going to come, it's inevitable, but you can't just keep pushing it off and prolonging it, because then it is never going to come. So there's a very distinct difference on waiting for the perfect timing or just assuming you're going to start it someday but not really sitting down to become clear and intentional with starting this new chapter, starting this new journey, whatever it may be, and always just assuming that your future self is going to get to it someday, versus you putting in this little bit of time right now, today, and continue to do it either every single day or whenever you have free time. No matter if you don't have the time every single day, but you do have time eventually and you're putting work in, it's the same result. You're going to see things change. And yes, it might take a little bit of time depending how much effort and how much time you're putting into these things, but that doesn't mean that it's never going to come. Because just like with anything, it takes time, it takes patience, it takes resilience, it takes persistence. It's going to require all of these traits within you to really start achieving what it is that you want and overcoming these obstacles within yourself. But again, you have to ask yourself at the end of the day, how bad do you want it? Start doing a self-assessment, holding yourself accountable, and really start taking the action now to make this change in your life, or else it's just going to always be the same later on down the road. And I'm sure once you get to that point and then you start, all you're going to tell yourself is, I wish I started sooner. I wish I started earlier. I wish I started when I knew all of these things and I wasn't so afraid to start it. Because oftentimes we're operated by fear because of the unknown. We're not sure how it's going to play out. We're not sure if it's something that we would be good at, but it's just because it's unknown. That's the only reason fear exists, because we don't know. But if you start to take initiative in working towards it, you will start to see that change and you'll start to get more familiar with it. Soon enough, you were a beginner and then now you're an expert, all because you stuck with it, you practice it, and you didn't allow yourself to let go of it. You stayed consistent and disciplined through the process to allow yourself to become so familiar with it that you are now an expert at it. So, do not let fear control your life. Do not let fear control your life, and just really understand where fear is coming from. And it's just because it's unknown. But there was a lot of things that we have come across that were unknown in our life, and we may have been fearful of it in the beginning, but we see how much progress we've made within it now, and you're not so fearful of it. You're not so scared of it anymore. And when you're presented all of these opportunities, but you feel fear setting in, dismiss it, because it's not real. It's just the unknown. But if you allow yourself to get more familiar with it, then you're going to be more than okay. And then you'll start to thank yourself, because you're no longer holding yourself back. You're starting to do the things that you want. You're really starting to structure yourself. We need structure. We need routine. We can't just constantly be aloof and just assuming that everything that we want is going to come to us someday, fall in our lap, because it's just not going to happen that way. It's not. So it's just really important to do this self-assessment, figure out where you want to start, and just continue and promising yourself to be consistent after that. So that is all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like my content, don't forget to subscribe for more. Bye guys. Mwah.